Our guest today, Patrick Lyman. Our president emeritus of Compass Financial Solutions, Patrick dedicated 50 years of service to the financial service industry. He provided a strong foundation, guidance, education, and service. Patrick believed that to be dedicated to his clients, he must be dedicated to his community as well. He helped empower his community members through educational workshops, involvement in the Upper Darby and Lansdowne Rotary Club, Delaware County Police Department, and a firefighters organization. He's an honorable member of the Kentucky Colonels, a qualifying and lifetime member of the $1 Million Roundtable, and an author of a series of retirement books. Patrick, thanks for joining us today.
Brendon, happy to be here. Really pleased to share some time with you, and I'm very pleased to have the opportunity.
Let's talk about how you actually got into the financial services industry.
Okay, are you sure you want to know that?
Sure.
Well, believe it or not, as you said, I've had 52 years in the business. In 1972, my wife and I were living up in Boston. I was going to graduate school at Northeastern University, thinking that I wanted to get a master's degree in Asian studies because the Vietnam War was still going on at the time. But somehow I went to a meeting about a career opportunity, and there was a gentleman there who was actually a sales manager with Prudential Life Insurance Company. We started talking, and to make a long story short, went to a couple of more meetings with him and ended up getting recruited into the business and started as an ordinary agent in 1972, carrying a big, huge rate book and trying to sell life insurance to people I did not know.
So you were knocking door to door?
I was doing everything, knocking door to door, making cold calls on the phone. I can tell you one thing, the business has changed dramatically from when I started to where it is today and where you are today.
So what type of products were you using back then? Was it just life insurance? Was it final expense?
It was 100% life insurance, whole life, the good old-fashioned whole life product, endowment policies, things that most companies don't even offer today, but that's what we worked with.
But they still offer whole life, so isn't it still similar?
Oh, it's still similar, but the products have become a lot more sophisticated, and the focus today, at least I think anyway, on whole life insurance products is really on maximizing cash accumulation so that you can use these as retirement products. And they really are a very excellent way to add to the overall retirement planning portfolio because, as you know, you have the death benefit, there's no risk involved, and you get the tax-free growth of the cash. So it's a pretty attractive way to supplement any other retirement benefits that you might have.
Yeah, it's still used today, and we use it for different things, defined benefit plans, saving taxation for kids on their parents' income. So there can be a couple different ways to use it. So you came out back in 2008. You started Compass Financial.
Yep.
What made you go out on your own?
Well, I guess I felt that after a number of years in the corporate world, which I was doing while I was operating as an independent financial advisor, I really like the idea of being independent. To me, and really throughout my career, there was always this attraction to being as independent as I possibly could get, or could be rather, and I realized that there's a certain amount of risk involved with that, but at the same point, the freedom to do my own thing, so to speak, and to build what I wanted to build the way I wanted to build it really led me to feel that going forward at that particular time, I needed to just work for myself. And I decided to build a company, and hence Compass Financial Solutions. Actually, it was Compass Financial Partners back then. Mm-hmm. That's how it was born in 2008. And so it's been basically in existence thanks to you, and going forward, hopefully it'll be around for many years.
Yeah, hopefully so. Michael Rafferty's still with us, still doing some stuff up in Radnor and Bucks County. But you keep mentioning independent. Why is it important to be an independent?
I wanted to have an opportunity where I wasn't going to be beholden to one particular company for product, for service, financial support, whatever it might be. And I wanted to make sure that when I was in the process of developing a new client or potential client, I wanted to have the opportunity to work with the absolute best products that I could put in front of that potential client so that they would have the confidence in me to make a decision to do business with me and have me become their financial advisor. And having a large menu of A-rated or A-plus rated carriers with really good products made me look, I think, that much more sophisticated in front of the prospect, because they knew that I wasn't just promoting one thing. I was really offering a menu of products that I felt might be beneficial to them, whether it was for retirement planning, life insurance planning, disability insurance planning, or ultimately long-term care insurance planning. And I always felt it gave me a better array of weapons, and sort of like having enough arrows in the quiver, so to speak. And that was really, I think, the biggest reason for wanting to be independent.
Because it's never one product fits all. It's always based on the situation or the person sitting across the table from you.
Absolutely. There's no question about it. So
when did you start working with Michael Rafferty?
Well, believe it or not, Mike and I actually first met, I think, in 1995 or 96, when I was a manager of a life insurance agency in Broomall here in suburban Philadelphia. And Mike and I got together and had a discussion. We didn't develop a relationship at that point, but somehow we sort of kept in touch with each other. And ultimately, back in the probably the early 2000s, we kind of started doing some work together. And ultimately, Mike became a part of, as you know, Compass Financial, and he's just been a great guy to work with over the years, knowledgeable, terrific with a lot of different things, and just a great guy all around.
He is a great guy. So that brings us to 2013. We had a lunch. I've talked about it before on this podcast. We went to a lunch actually at Azia Media, and we sat down and we talked about me coming into the business with you.
Yeah, I for a couple of years, I had a sense, and I talked to my wife about it, and a couple of times, and she agreed with me that because of your personality and the fact that you knew so many people, I felt that there was an opportunity for you to become successful in this business, which obviously you've done in spades. And so consequently, I said, that's when I think I approached you and said, hey, let's get together for lunch. I have an idea I'd like to bounce off you. And lo and behold, you were very receptive to it. 'Cause I frankly was not sure whether you would be or not, because it's a really difficult business, as you know now, because of the things that you've gone through to get to where you are today. And we started the process of pre-contract training and getting you licensed, and gradually helping you achieve your pre-license training requirements, and getting out in front of real live people and developing customers and trying to train you as best I could. And today, you've become a very knowledgeable, skilled advisor. And maybe I had just a tiny, teeny bit to do with that, but if I did, that's great.
I think you mentored me along the way. You and Mike, you and Raf. We had a bunch of different conversations about different clients along the way, and kind of just gave, each one of us had our own little aspect of what we brought to the table at the time.
Yeah, I think what we were able to do was sort of evolve into, where you've taken Compass today. We've sort of been able to evolve into an organization that really could provide comprehensive planning services, whether it was investments, life insurance, retirement planning, which I think it's safe to say is probably still 75% of what the practice is all about today. But retirement planning, long-term care planning, which is still not discussed enough in the industry, I don't think, anyway. But yeah, I think each of us brought a piece of expertise to the puzzle, and then gradually you kept developing your expertise, and I think that's been able to help you take this firm to another level, which obviously you've done, and it's exciting to watch what you've done. And it gives me a lot of gratification to see that in terms of the decision I made to offer an opportunity to come into the business, you've obviously validated that in spades.
It means a lot, because we learned a lot during that time. I think we all learn how to work with each other and kind of develop each skill and what we do well and how we can communicate, because you're always a wealth of information and knowledge. So you pass that along to me, because I use some of the facts that you spit out multiple times in different seminars we did every once in a while. I can still remember some of them. Annuity planning or, your own personal pension have become, it's a bigger thing it is today than it was even 5 years ago.
There's no question about it. I think the industry, if I look back on the differences that have occurred, the changes, I should say, that have occurred in the industry just in the last 5 years, it's been like lightning speed. Classic example, some of the annuity products that are available on the marketplace today are so much more sophisticated compared to what they were even just 5 years ago in terms of the index options that are available in the contracts. I mean, they offer what I think is great, and frankly makes me a little bit envious of the opportunities that you have today in working with new prospects, is that you can sit down with a potential client and offer them the opportunity to generate very reasonable rates of return in these fixed index products without the risk to the principal, and continues to make them even more attractive retirement planning products than they were 5-10 years ago. My wife and I have these same types of products, and the types of returns we've been able to generate without ever having to wake up in the middle of the night worrying about, if the market crashes tomorrow, we're in big trouble. That worry's been eliminated. And when you have customers that are in their 60s and 70s, that issue is extremely important. And to be able to sit down with somebody today and show them those kinds of products, I think is just spectacular.
And that was a large portion of your sales and business that you did before you retired. Your guaranteed income, use a different bunch of products for that, for to help maximize the Social Security and the income that your clients were receiving monthly.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, when we put Compass together back in 2008, the tagline on our logo was, guiding you to a secure retirement. And really, the only way I could look somebody in the eye and say, your retirement dollars, at least in this bucket, are secure, was to use one of these indexed annuity contracts, because nothing else can offer that safety and security to help someone really build adequate income at retirement, other than these type, at least in my opinion, other than these types of products.
And we still use that tagline, guiding you to a secure retirement, but we just talk about conversations, because it's always been that way. The process has never really changed. There's always been that conversation. We'll get the information from the people, and then we put a one-page plan in front. We've always done that. And we learned that from you.
Well, I always found and felt, still do, that if you can make things simple for the prospect, because as you well know, these products have a lot of moving parts, and it can be very difficult for someone, even someone that that you feel is a pretty sophisticated investor. It can be very difficult for them to grasp some of the moving parts. And if you can simplify that, identify the need, put it on paper, identify what they say they want to do, and show them how that particular product can help them achieve their goals, you're going to probably go 6 or 7 out of 10 times you're going to have that person say, yeah, I'd like to work with you because I understand what you're recommending. And that's extremely important, particularly today when you have so many people in this business, whether they're stockbrokers, whether they're insurance providers, or whether they're retirement planning experts, whatever it is. As you well know, there's a lot of people in this business in the marketplace that do it very differently all over the United States. And plus you're competing with, the Charles Schwabs of the world and the wealth managers of the world. But ultimately, I think what these index products allow you to do is to carve out a real unique niche in the marketplace, because you're offering something that not everybody else offers. And frankly, and I know you've found this, and I certainly have found it over the years, not everybody that's providing these products understands them as well as they should. And if your knowledge and understanding of these products shared with the prospect really, I think, can elevate you way above those kinds of planners.
Well, I think that's also the partnerships we've developed over the years. You did a lot of the financial planning at the time when we were working together. And that's when we Brendon McPoyle. We still work with Michael Rafferty. We have Lisa Eppolito, Maria Beck as our Medicare specialist that we deal with. We have estate lawyers that we deal with. So everyone stays kind of in their lane, but you still get the job done because you can still show exactly what kind of vehicles you can do and what you demonstrated to be what you do best.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you've done by sort of building the team approach of experts in a particular category of expertise makes it that much easier for you to communicate to the prospect or client that you can be a full service provider, because I think most people today understand that an advisor really, it's very difficult to know everything about everything. So rather than trying, and I know my philosophy always was, rather than trying to let people know that you know everything, let them know that this is my area of expertise, but if there are other services necessary, I can put you in front of a real professional, whether it's estate planning, Medicare planning, or whatever the case may be. And I think they appreciate that because it shows that you're trying to, create the environment that puts them in a position where they don't need to go running around finding 10 different advisors to do 10 different things because you've laid it out for them, on a platter, which is a great thing.
Yeah, and we just try to work with the people that's sitting across from us. So if they have an accountant or if they have a lawyer, we want to work with that person across the table because they could introduce us to somebody else that might need our services, and vice versa in the same sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you can refer business back and forth to other advisors, ultimately that's going to help you acquire new clients, and that's terrific.
Yeah, and it helps keeping the Compass name going. So, that's one of your goals. I mean, besides being the president emeritus, you are my father-in-law. So I do have to take care of a few people in the family.
Yeah, I'd say so, which is a great thing. I mean, my goal, just getting a little more personal for a moment, my goal was always to be able to find someone that when I decided to retire, I could turn the business over to and continue a legacy. And I felt confident in you for, a number of years back that you could be the person that I would be able to do that with. And thankfully it worked out. You really lifted up your game, so to speak, and you've taken Compass, to a whole different level. Frankly, when you're, as you know, I just turned 75 2 weeks ago, and the energy starts to drain a little bit, and just trying to, at this stage of the game, just trying to get a grasp of the changes in the products on a year-to-year basis. It's just mind-boggling how these things are changing, and I realize that this is truly a young person's business, and the smartest thing I could do is walk away and put it in the good hands of someone who would continue to build it and work with it as you've done. So that gives me a sense of satisfaction and a sense of pride that I was able to do that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad you were able to talk me into doing it one day at lunch.
So am I.
So I know you've written 2 books, 30-Day Retirement, and then pretty much like an income planning book. Right. If you had to give 2 pieces of advice to people out there today, what would it be?
Well, the first piece of advice I would give is start planning now. I don't care whether you're 25, 35, or 45. The sooner you sit down and take stock of what you own or what you don't own and where you want to be in the next 10 or 20 years, now's the time to do it, because it's never too late, and it's always better to do something than to have done nothing. So that would be one piece of advice. The second piece of advice I would give is to make sure that they have some portion of their retirement plan invested in some vehicle that will give them complete security of their principal and remove the worries about fluctuating markets and so on and so forth, so that they'll always know that no matter what happens going down the road, they're going to have something in a bucket that's never going to shrink. And that bucket could become a cornerstone of their retirement planning. And I would add a third piece: try to find someone who they can trust as an advisor that they feel they can work with for many years in the future, and follow the direction of that advisor who will work with them to give them a secure and comfortable retirement. If they do that, I think they have a pretty good shot at having a secure retirement. But without some reasonable amount of planning, which is relatively basic, it's going to be a real challenge, because the world is not getting any easier. The financial world is getting more difficult. There's more and more distractions of what kinds of products to use, who to work with. Do you use artificial intelligence platforms? And most people don't want to deal with it. They want to deal with somebody they can sit with, look eyeball to eyeball with, and say, hey, I need your help. Can you help me? And this is what I want to do. And the easier that advisor can make that for that prospect, the better chance both of them will have in coming into a solid relationship that hopefully will last for a long time.
So work with people you trust. Make sure you have some kind of secure income besides Social Security, because that's only going to cover about 35%.
Absolutely.
And then make sure that you have some type of extended care if you don't need the income. Make sure you can leverage your dollars for extended care along the way.
And I forgot to mention about the extended care, but those would be the three cornerstones of someone's retirement planning, starting, like I said, even if the person was 30 years old. It's never too early to start planning, as you well know, and the earlier the better. And I've told people that for a long time, and I love it when we used to bump into somebody that was 30, 35 years old, who really had no clue as to where to go, and ultimately they became our clients because we gave them a roadmap. And I think the books that I wrote hopefully serve as a roadmap for someone who's looking to build a retirement plan and doesn't know where to turn. And then secondly is trying to figure out, how can I make sure I have adequate income when I retire? That's why the focus of that book was building a guaranteed lifetime income. And if people follow those two concepts, I think they're going to be okay.
So if people are interested in finding your books, where can they find them?
They're currently available on Amazon Books, and they're still there. They've been there for, I guess, going back 2015.
Yeah. And we have some in the office. If you ever come in a consultation, we can mail you out a free one. If not, you can purchase them on Amazon. Pat, thanks for coming in. Happy belated birthday.
Brendon, thanks. It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it. And if you ever need another guest, let me know.
We definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Compass Wealth Conversations podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at www.mycfsi.com. That's www.mycfsi.com. Or give us a call at 610-449-9900. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Compass Financial Solutions Incorporated. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Please note that the information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of any institutions or entities they may be affiliated with. This podcast should not be considered as financial or tax advice. We strongly recommend consulting with a professional financial advisor or tax professional to get advice tailored to your specific situation before making any financial decisions.